Whatever mental health looks like for you, all of us are here for you.
What is your profession?
We will encourage you, inspire you, and build confidence in you to truly be yourself and to tackle the world. Hello there again, and welcome to Season 9 of Lobow Spark, the power of friendship. This season will focus on the close relationships we have with each other and the support that is so vital for all of us with ADHD and every neurodivergent. Lobow Spark is proudly supported by Terri Shubilla, Casey Elliot, Sarah Delano, Justin Allingham, Blushing Crafter, Jamie Young, Leo Guinan, and Kirk Hofstrom. Lobow Spark has started a fundraising effort for Crisis Text Line. We have a goal of $19 per episode, as $19 supports one person in their time of absolute crisis with their mental health. If you would like to donate through our fundraiser titled Lauren's Infinity, the link is listed in the episode's description. Lauren was my wife's best friend and loved by all that came into contact with her. The music in this episode is provided by Guy Farmer. Please look him up on iTunes. He is an outstanding musician and also one of my closest friends. Lobow Spark is proudly sponsored by Social Media Gardens. The topic of today's group episode is on neurodiversity and boredom. As a team, we discuss how boredom presents itself in our own individual lives and what we can do to combat it in our own way. How we experience boredom as a neurodivergent is absolutely different than how any, quote, normal person could ever experience it. This episode features Kim Devitt, Mechi Mansilla, Up for the Challenge, Kirk Hofstrom, Blushing Crafter, Leo Guinan, and Terri Shubilla. Together, we are something for someone. Today, neurodivergence and boredom. And this is the most painful thing that I ever go through, is being bored. It is literally a physical issue for me. I cannot do it. So we're going to go through and give what boredom means to you, how you combat it, and hopefully someone out there listening will resonate with something one of us has said. Maybe it'll help us. This topic was chosen originally by Mechi, and then Leo put it in a chat thing, so I saw Leo's name next to it, but it's really Mechi, I think, that came up with this. So Mechi, if you want to give a brief description on why you chose it and why you want us to talk about it, that would be outstanding. Yeah, it does hurt badly.
It hurts. For me, it really does. I mean, I know this sounds weird, but I've been through some tough things in my life, like really serious traumatic events. And I find those events to be not as boring as boredom and not as painful as being bored, because I suffer from, and probably because of those traumatic events, I suffer from a thing called depersonalization and the realization. And whenever I get bored, my mind starts going into that place, and I start to get into that weird zone where I don't like being there. I have a lot of intrusive thoughts. I recently learned that it could be OCD. So boredom takes me there, and being ADHD makes things harder because we don't have available dopamine like other people do. We tend to get bored more easily. So my only way to avoid this from happening is to be constantly doing things. That's why, like all of us here, we work, we have our social medias, probably more than one. We like traveling, we like things that give us dopamine. We would try things that would, I don't know, maybe even harm us or put us in danger, but we will do it just to avoid the pain of boredom. So yeah, the only way I try to stop it is by having plenty of projects, like business, anything. So, and learning, I like learning too, but yeah, that's the only way I have to avoid it, and it's really a pain for me. It feels like physical pain.
So the way you avoid boredom is just by keeping busy. all of the time.
Yeah.
Is that like, can you handle not being busy at all? Like,
No,
right.
I cannot be busy.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, but that is the thing. I mean, because there comes a point when you burn out because you're doing so many things that you never take the time on it.
Yeah.
So it can be overwhelming.
I totally agree with that. Hey, Terri, how's it going? We're talking about some boredom here.
Fuck boredom.
Well, that's the intro. So that was easy. I would like to go with.
So unfortunately, I am not able to attend the group session on the pain of boredom, but I did want to throw a video out and just kind of share my thoughts on it. So one of the things that I've always really struggled with is being bored. I don't like to be bored. I like to constantly have something to do because my brain never stops. And so if I'm not doing something, my brain is going somewhere, and that's not always somewhere good. A lot of times it can result in rumination over the latest thing that went wrong. And I've gotten a lot better at this in the recent couple of years, especially as I've started understanding what ADHD really is all about and how that interacts with the whole autism side of things. But for me, boredom was the unknown. It was something I couldn't necessarily control where my brain would go, and it was always going to go somewhere. So I found that trying to direct my brain's energy somewhere is usually a good way to at least make sure it doesn't go to the places I don't want it to go. And I think this is probably an experience a lot of us share. And, you know, I think it's something that we've learned to do. It's one of those coping mechanisms because, yeah, when your brain doesn't stop, you've got to direct it somewhere. And so I always found a lot of times video games that were fairly immersive were good because I could kind of focus everything onto those. There were very specific tasks and goals that I could direct that energy into. And the best video games would take up kind of that whole attention and be able to let my brain relax a bit in the sense that I gave it something very specific to do and it wasn't going off doing 15 other things. And so that's always been a big benefit of video games for me. And now that I'm not playing video games nearly as much, it's directed into other endeavors, whether it's my content creation, my side projects, occasionally even actually in my work. You know, that's something that does pull a lot of my attention at times. But yeah, that attention ends up having to go somewhere. And so the idea of being bored and just letting our minds wander wherever it happens to go, that's kind of a scary idea. And especially when you have a brain that likes to go to dark places at times. As I said, I haven't struggled with this nearly as much, but certainly in the past, that is something I experienced and is a good reason why boredom was always dangerous, if not just painful. And you know, that energy, as I said, has to go somewhere. And so being bored, there's nowhere to direct that energy. So that's either going to show up in fidgeting, it's going to show up in rumination, it's going to go somewhere. So it's better to direct that energy somewhere specific if you can. But anyway, just wanted to share those thoughts on boredom and kind of my experience with it. So enjoy the group episode, and I will definitely see you guys next time.
Up next, what is your neurodivergent? Because autism
I don't. Well, an OCD, you know. I mean,
I keep forgetting about that OCD.
I'm always bored. I can't not be. It's why I do 50 things at once. I can't not. Like, I have 3 screens in front of me. I'm currently checking the analytics on my phone for one of my YouTube channels, and I have my tablet next to me as well. I can't not. I mean, in the preamble that some people will see through Patreon, I was talking about the fact that I had a chat with Mechi the other day, and then she suggested, oh, why don't you do this for travel? And I was like, yeah, fine. So I created another YouTube channel, re-edited 4 videos, created the website for it, the Instagram, the Facebook page, a new Twitter page for it as well, because why not? And then I'm traveling over to Bulgaria in a couple of weeks to go and teach self-defense and martial arts to a couple from America that are out there doing stuff. Because why would I allow myself to be bored? I don't understand why people. I don't get it. I don't understand the idea of being bored. I just, oh, I'm bored. Fucking do something then. What the fuck? I don't understand people that just go, oh, I'm really bored. All right. What the fuck are you sitting there for then? Why are you not doing something? I mean, I'm doing stuff and I'm still bored. What the fuck? I don't get it. Why are neurotypical so fucking weird? We're the weird ones. No, we fucking aren't, because you tell us, if you give us an action and say, I am bored, guess what a neurodivergent person does? Oh, what can I do to solve that? What 50 things can I do? And yet a neurotypical person is going to go, I'm bored, and stay fucking bored. Well, that's your problem then. Why are we the ones on medication, you fucking weirdo? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I absolutely agree with every single bit of that. That is
fucking, I similar to Mechi, I have this kind of not physical pain, but I need to do stuff. I can't not. Like, I was like the last marathon I did, I was listening to HG Wells, 24 hours of HG Wells whilst I was running, because I needed some kind of stimulus whilst I was running, because the running's just running. So, like, yeah.
What do you do to combat the boredom? I mean, like, is it just as same as Mechi was saying? Like, you just do something all the time, all
the time.
All the time.
I don't live at any moment of my life in silence. I can't do it.
I remember you saying that.
So I always have music or film or something on when I go to bed. I always have the headphones in so I can listen to it. I'm constantly doing something. I always have, like I say, I have a 3-screen setup so I can do it. I mean, I have, so I have 8 YouTube channels, and I have, so they range from specifically mental health education to mental health podcast to a martial arts and self-defense podcast. I have a cooking and personal YouTube channel. I now have a travel YouTube channel, which I've just done. I have a meditation and relaxation music channel, and I have a bad gaming channel as well. And I'm two or three times a week there'll be videos going out on each channel. Right. Only one on a couple of them, because I need to do something, and then I'll constantly film things when I'm away, and then I have my daily stuff that I do on Twitter for my videos, and I also put that on TikTok. And I don't understand. I really find it frustrating when people say, and this is going to sound really harsh to about 99% of the population, but when people say they don't have the time, shut the fuck up. There's no such thing as not having the time. You do have the time. Your mind isn't allowing you to use it. That's the difference. When people say, "Oh, you've done so many things," like, I could never do that. Yes, you could. Yeah, of course you fucking could. I don't watch TV, for instance. I don't do that. So I don't have that. I only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, which obviously that's dependent on your specific hormonal genetics, not anything else. The idea of 8 hours a night. Don't listen to that bullshit, because that's bad science. If you actually listen to it, it's dependent on your genetics and your hormonal structures and what you can actually deal with. I live in 4 or 5 hours, so that's fine for me. But people generally do have more hours than they give themselves credit. And then most of the things they're saying will take so long don't. Now, it's different depending on, for instance, if you're neurodivergent, what you may be suffering. Because
right, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
there are issues there that you may take a specific amount of time within all of it. Like, you might have an issue that you're procrastinating, and it's oversimplifying certain bits of that. But when certain people say they don't have time to do it, that's a separate thing. When you're saying my ADHD, my depression, whatever, isn't allowing me to do it, that's one thing. When you're saying you don't have time, that's you finding a fucking reason not to. That's you going, oh, but I can't. Yes, you can. Mechi will realize, I'll recognize these comments from me, from her when we were talking about travel the other day. The only person standing in your way of doing it is you. You've created that barrier so that your brain has something to fight, so that you don't have to do it and break through to create another barrier. And it's just a bullshit way of your mind trying to create its own control.
Right. I do agree with that. I also think, though, that like a lot of people with ADHD, when they say they don't have time, it is true, because in their mind, they have waited until the last second to get something done, and then they really don't have enough time. But that's not really a choice that we have in that moment, unless we.
True. That's true. But there's two issues of that. One, I did specify separate.
Right. No, that's what I was saying.
Also, there's a separate thing on this. If you wait till last minute, for anyone that knows me from university, my first undergraduate degree was in politics. I didn't look at the title of my essays until the day they were due. That's when I first looked at the title, and then I still managed to see the title, write the essays, get my degree, and now a master's and other degrees in that time period. So there's still time to do it. Yeah. Even if it's last minute, it's how your neurodivergence is hitting you.
Right.
Or if you're neurotypical, it's whatever bullshit argument you're giving yourself.
Absolutely. I wish I could write essays ever. Kim, let's go with you next on neurodivergence and boredom. What is your opinion of boredom, and how do you combat it?
I echo what's already been said, but my mom has a quote that she shared with me that's always stuck, and it says, if you have to wait brilliantly. And I think that that's so true, that if you're in a position where some might argue that they are bored, there's always something you could be doing. I mean, it could be cleaning out your trunk of your car if you're waiting in line somewhere. I mean, it could be cleaning out your voicemails or pictures on your phone. I mean, there's just always something that you can be doing. It's boredom is not something that I personally struggle with. I know that is something that other people might struggle with, but it's not. I would say my challenge is the opposite. It's prioritizing what's most important to accomplish first, and not getting distracted by the less important tasks that need to be done that sometimes take away my attention. And then I go down the rabbit hole of that project that might not necessarily be a high priority project. So it's really, I think, prioritization would be my greatest struggle as it relates to boredom.
But Kim, you're so busy all of the time that I feel like boredom never has ever crept into. I mean, like
how do you define busyness? Because
you see everyone all the time. But
I'm creating the chaos. So I'm the only person that's responsible for that, and I have to take responsibility for that, because I can say, "Gosh, I'm so busy," but it's how I've intentionally designed my life, and so. Now that I am on bed rest, which is a joke, because I'm not doing a very successful job at bed rest at 8.5 months pregnant. I'm like, that's not going to happen. But it is interesting to figure out ways to slow down and really prioritize, in this case, health. But yeah, again, if you have to wait brilliantly. And
I like that quote.
Do the most important things first.
Yeah. And don't worry about other people when they're telling you, you're just sitting there. What are you doing? I'm waiting brilliantly. Shut the fuck up. That's part of it.
Yeah. My mom also has, she's full of quotes. Another quote she has is, she's like, I'm not having a lazy day. I'm having a low biorhythm day. That's another one of hers. She says low biorhythm day. So not lazy, low biorhythm.
I like the I'm not home day.
I love that. I love that.
That's what my mom told me. Terri, neurodivergence and boredom. What do we got here?
Okay, so to me, so like I was saying, I could be doing something and I still feel bored, and that's how I feel too. Like it's just this understimulation of I can't relax. Like unless I am really, really into a show or a movie or something where I'm dependent on what happens in it for my own emotional safety. I like have, and even then I'm still like have to do other things. So I took a long vacation, leave of absence from work this summer, and just went back to work last week. And I needed it for my mental health. I was fucking bored. I was bored not like having something or a million things to do, especially like my job was busy a lot and there was just things going on everywhere. There was so much to keep up with. And, you know, so like go to the beach, okay, go to the beach, like play in the water a little bit, like, you know, read a book and stuff. It only gets you like a certain level of stimulation and everything. I need to go back to work. But I do feel like it feels like a pain, almost like I hate it, absolutely hate it whenever there would be a snowstorm where it's like, okay, you're not driving, you're not going anywhere. So I'm like, I can't just be in the house right now. Like I need to be able to, like, if I decide I want to go do this and go do that, I need to be able to do it when that hits me. And you get in some trouble when you're bored. Like, you know, you're bored, you're sitting on the beach, everybody's at work, you're having a couple drinks, and you know you're just gonna tweet some not unpleasant, but just, you know, stuff that might be a little bit embarrassing. But I think my boredom has led to my embarrassment a lot. So
That's actually a really good point. Boredom leading to embarrassment, because we do things that we would never normally do because we just need to fucking do something. Like
we couldn't stop
anything.
to think about it, to be like, is that like really a good idea?
Exactly.
Or what is this going to lead to? Because it's just instant gratification. Like I did, you know,
Right.
Somebody gonna talk to me now.
What?
Please, let's have some stimulating conversation. I can't just.
What do you do to
talk about
combat it?
weather.
Like, is there anything you do to combat that boredom feeling? Like, you know,
Not intentionally, but maybe naturally. Like
you just created in your mind things to do. Like you were mentioning tweeting out or whatnot. It might not be the best.
Like,
but that's
and I
something.
like to write a lot, so I
Okay.
do a lot of writing. And like I have a lot of stuff that I write that I don't even like post or share or anything. So like writing is a part of that, because I could be that could take a lot of stimulation because I'm expressing a thought or an idea or retelling of a story and really like focusing on all of the circumstances and really getting a full concept of it. So that's like a really good one with that. But still then I need like that, like I need music in my ears. I need to like kind of be moving around and stuff. And just like I always feel like anything that I'm doing, I need to be like fully immersed in. Like I can't just like
half-ass it. Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people could do like give the surface level amount of attention, or not attention so much, but effort into something,
right.
And still like be successful with it, turn out something good and whatever. And I'm like, I need to experience it fully to really feel like I've done whatever it was I was looking to do, or enjoy, or like full experience, like
the sense of accomplishment, right? Like you dive 100,000% into something and it works out. It's like, that's the accomplishment. Like you got to have that to defeat it. I think. Thank you.
Then that raises the tolerance level, and you're like,
I know. And then it's like a drug. Like, I mean, it's a drug without being a drug is what it is.
It technically is a drug. It's serotonin and various other things. It literally is a drug.
Yeah.
Wait, literally high on life.
Yeah.
That's why I went skydiving 3 days after I got married. So, blushing. What do we got? Neurodivergence and boredom.
I will second it hurts, but it's not necessarily like a physical pain. I know my physical pain is chronic and heavy, intense, but my pain isn't that. It is my mental, I am going to go just bonkers. I don't know if that's a good word, but like I have a negative bubbling under the surface that just gets worse and worse and worse when I'm bored. Or even just the boredom starting makes that feeling happen. And if I don't immediately go do something, because I have to do things all the time, literally, like Up was saying, I have very few times that I can have silence. It is usually if I'm really, really, really overwhelmed and my brain is screaming at me to like, no more impressions, please, 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 I just want to sleep. That's my point of I can have it quiet until I fall asleep, but very rarely. But it's like the painful bubbling of some sort, and it can explode. When I was young, it did often, but I also stayed busy all the time until I couldn't anymore and my body was shutting down. And I would potentially be able to get in trouble if it wasn't for real strong boundaries from my parents. And I mean strong as in positive strong. And I learned to stand against the temptations, especially like alcohol and drugs. And there was that kind of stuff around me in my area, and I withstood it. But I could easily, because of that boredom, if we can call it that, and that having to do something all the time kind of thing, I could have gotten in big trouble when I was like a young teen, but I didn't. But it's a risk, a big risk. But for me, boredom now, I don't think I get to a point where I let it happen, but I can start to get the feeling of it's potentially going to, and I go, okay, what can I do? And I have this long list of things I can do, literally written down, and I can go through it in my mind, and if I run out of things that I don't feel like doing, then I go to the list and I go, oh, I can do that thing, and then that, and then that, because I can't not do it.
So you have essentially a playbook of backup plans if you get bored. That's fucking huge to have something like that.
It took me years to realize that, hey, I gotta write this down.
Yeah, that's actually amazing, because then it's like, okay, well, Kirk, you'll understand this, call an audible if it's not working. So
yeah, and I see someone commenting on meditation. That's one of my techniques, but it's not a sit quiet and just breathe. I'll breathe and I'll walk around in the house and I'll figure out whether I want to do grounding, as in look at things, feel things, register what I see, or do I want to actually just clean some dishes before they're going in the dishwasher? Is that going to be my meditation? Because I need to do stuff.
Yeah, something, anything.
And to be honest, to have ADHD and to have ME or chronic fatigue syndrome and have this real danger of boredom being painful is a problem a lot of the time. Because the fatigue will take over and I will crash hard. So I have to balance that as well. Yeah. So I do stuff, but I have like my playbook or list of things that I need to do. Very often are not too active physically. I'm sitting or laying down, but I'm doing them.
Right. That's awesome, Blushing. Kirk, what do we got on boredom here? And then I've got a
lot.
Ooh,
okay, I could talk about this for like 2 hours. I feel like our chat right now is hilarious. I wish people like watching
I wish
this
I was
later
able
would be
to
able
do
to
that.
see
Okay.
the one thing my favorite thing in this whole chat right now is Up saying that I meditate to die hard. Like that is our brains. That is a perfect explanation. When I was a kid, I would fall asleep at night and I couldn't fall asleep to silence, and I would not fall asleep to like rain sounds or like ASMR. I'm falling asleep to like I'm playing top 40. So it's like hip hop and metal and like
Little John unedited is really where it's at.
Yeah, and that's how I fall asleep. Because I'm like, okay, cool, my brain is not bored anymore. Out, you know. And I would wake up in the morning with my headphones wrapped around my body. But like whatever, I slept. And what's really interesting is I think where I'm very much like I have 4 screens in front of me plus my phone. So I have at least 5 active screens in front of me right now. And if you start to include phones, it can get really ridiculous. I have my laptop too. So I could have like 8 if I really wanted. And that would feel normal for me. I'd be like, okay, cool. I'm doing 8 things at once. That sounds great. And Lobow, Saturdays, I will have 3 different sports.
I saw the picture.
A video game.
I saw the picture with like your work and then 4 football games.
Yeah,
my God.
You're just like me, dude. Like,
it's like I'm about to take a flight just so I can be in Kirk's room to watch all these games. This is incredible.
But and then the other thing, like, oh, does this get us in trouble? Yeah, it gets me in trouble all the time. Like, I still get in trouble for this at work. Even my boss now is like, yo, can you not do 18 things at once? And I will bring my laptop to work. I'll be on my phone at work, but and I'll succeed that way more than if I'm doing nothing. If I'm doing nothing but standing there, I just feel like I'm gonna explode, so I get nothing done. But if I'm doing 3 things at once, all 3 will just sort of roll on and I'll get them done. What I find has been most interesting, especially as an adult, is this like dopamine versus serotonin thing now. I think I supplement a lot of meaningful things with dopamine instead. And I think that's the thing that kills a lot of us, is that we will do a lot of baseline level activities. Like, okay, cool, I'll doodle, or I'll take notes, or I'll watch a video, or I'll play a video game, and that'll keep us sort of active enough. But what I really want is serotonin. I want to be learning, I want to be building a business, I want to be working out, I want to be, I don't know, if I'm going to listen to something, I'd rather listen to a podcast where I'm learning something than just music that I've heard 348 times. But dopamine is so much easier. It's so much easier to pull out my favorite album. It's so much easier to pull out my favorite video game. It's so much easier to pull out my favorite movie. But it's not enough at the same time. It's like this little baseline will keep me from going absolutely crazy. But if I put in the actual effort, I could have a lot of serotonin. And I think that's where I tend to struggle. That's where I tend to want to figure out how do I pursue these meaningful things with this boredom, with this extra energy, with this, I don't know, the same level of intensity that I'm doing a bunch of dumb stuff with, that I'm doing a bunch of little tiny things. Like, sure, I can ride my bike and juggle at the same time. Cool, that's not very important. Yes, I actually can do that. But at the same time, like, why did I learn how to do that when I could have learned another language? Why did I do that when I could have learned how to do something really, really meaningful? I think that's something a lot of ADHD people fall into, or I at least hope that a lot of other ADHD people fall into, because I sure hope I'm not the only one.
You're not on that whatsoever. Thanks, Kirk. I appreciate that. So boredom for me, I can be dead honest on this and say that it is the most crippling aspect of my life. It has cost me friendships. It has cost me relationships in the past. It is something that I cannot deal with on any level. And an example of this, my mom will attest to this whenever she comes on the podcast, which will be hilarious, is when I was a kid, I was bored one summer. I wasn't in school. Of course, that was even more boring than being bored. And I ran in. I'm like, what do I do? Give me something to do. Mama, please give me something to do. She's like, go outside and play. So I didn't just go outside and play. I went to the tree fort and jumped off it and knocked my teeth out. But it was only one tooth that I knocked out. And I came in, my face is bloody. I'm like, okay, I'm done playing outside. What's next? She goes, well, go find the tooth that you just lost. and thinking to herself, oh, that'll last him all day. 3 minutes into going back outside, I come back with this white tooth, and I'm like, I found it. Next. Like, and from that point on, my mom was like, oh shit, this is going to be really difficult. Because I start to get headaches. I start to get nauseous. Like, I cannot function if you are hurrying up to wait. Hurrying up to wait is what I cannot do under any circumstances. How I combat that is I try to stay as busy as possible, but that leads to me absolutely crashing. But I know the crash is coming, so it's okay. Like, it's just that I just have to, like, literally just bawl my eyes out for 5 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is. And then right after I'm done with that, I'm okay to go again until it happens again. But that overwhelm, when I've been constantly going for so long, is the only thing I know how to do to not have the headaches and the nausea and all those kind of things. I can't do it. I cannot not do something. And it's really hurt me. Terry, what's up? You got your hand?
I want to talk about that.
Absolutely.
So why the fuck do we think that's wrong though? Like, why is that the wrong way? Because
I agree. It's not wrong.
So people,
it's hard,
you
though.
could, work and give an average level of effort every day and then sleep all night and you're just average, and it's nice and it flows and
Right.
it's fuck. Boring as shit.
Well,
boring. Listen to me.
The intro and the
But
fade
I mean-
out. Thank you, Terry.
But, or you could go, and then, okay, when you need to rest, you need to fucking rest. Well, so what? So
Right.
I am putting in as much effort over the course of your month in a week.
Right.
And then, so if I need to crash for a day, a weekend, or something, just get away, as opposed to wasting time, like with going to bed early and waking up early and making sure that, fucking everything is in the correct cabinet and that we have our clothes fucking folded all nice and neat. And that's boring to me.
Yeah, it
that's
is.
Shit.
Yeah, it sucks. But I guess it's harder. Like, I don't care about being the way that I am until I can't do something that I want to do because I can't wait to do it. And that's where it hurts me. It's like, yes, I would love to do all these great things, but I can't sit in a fucking terminal for 3 hours. Like, I can't do that. Blushing. Go ahead.
So I was saying earlier that I have to figure out things that I can do that are less intense, right? So where you go, and you go full speed. I know you're capable of doing things that aren't full speed. They might be middle speed instead of full speed. And sometimes if we can manage, because that's hard to do, to manage to be conscious to plan in one of those medium energy instead of intense full on draining energy activities, it gives us a little bit of time, be it an hour, a few hours of not heavy, intense energy. And then we can do the heavy energy again. And then we kind of go up and down that way. Instead of go up here, I'm holding my hand real high up above my head almost, for those who can't see. And then instead of going full on up here, we manage to go up and down, and maybe we avoid the very bad overwhelm. We'll have overwhelm for sure, because that's kind of a thing that a lot of us neurodiverse people do get.
Yeah.
But we're not going to have the ones that are kind of debilitating the same way, maybe?
Yeah, I agree with you. My thing is, like, unless it's, if I'm going to lose it, I'm really going to lose it. If I'm doing something, I'm really going to do something. The middle part of it, I can't. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. Terri, sorry, we have
Just really quick, because so like Kurt said, middle speed is where he wants to rip his eyeballs out. Chaos isn't boring, and I feel that because like even when like things are shit, like when it is low and everything, that's more satisfying in a way
yes
than the middle and that. So like when you talk about like the being in like the surviving mode, and then there's like the striving and thriving, but like that middle, like where like you're good, you're whatever, like that is fucking torturous to me. Like of course I don't want to be like struggling and like in the survival mode, but like striving and thriving, of course that's better, but like just working towards something like
yeah
and it doesn't always have to mean like full force and everything, but just like I know that this is like I'm making strides in something somewhere, and that like if I'm gonna dig a hole or something, like I'm gonna try and get as much dirt on each shovel
as humanly
what did you
possible.
fucking call that? Shovelful? I'm on a full shovel.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't.
All right, I'm done.
No, another thing that I wanted to bring up that nobody mentions, and I guess that we all struggle with, because first of all, we're human, and not just because we're neurodivergent, but I think all humans are wired to be drawn to novelty. But I guess especially us. So the problem with boredom, especially for me, is because I say I do many things, but the problem is that never stops the boredom. I could be doing 10,000 things at the same time, but if none of them are new, I don't fucking care. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can say that.
Oh, no, you absolutely can. No, fuck yes, you can. You're fine. We do not do the cursing
thank
thing.
you.
Yeah, you're totally
okay. Cool.
yeah,
Great.
exactly.
Okay, so that's the problem, and that's why I don't know. If I'm listening to a song, I can never listen it like until it ends. So I go on to the next one. But that's the thing. I love learning. That's one of the reasons why I like learning, and I know so many things that it doesn't make sense for me to know all of those things. But because it's like I'm learning something new. Great, let's learn something new today. Whatever it is, a language, physics, chemistry. I don't care. Something new. It has to be new. Visiting a place. Oh, it has to be somewhere new, because otherwise it's boring. Talking to other Argentinians. No, fuck no. I see them every fucking day. I want to talk to other people in the world. Trying food, I don't know, pizza. No, I don't want pizza. I want something different.
You're going to Italy. What the fuck?
And it's, but like, and I guess that's something that we really struggle with, because it's hard to seek novelty every single day. Because, I mean, if you work, I mean, basically every day it's kind of like the same thing. That's why I always say that being a freelancer for us is good, because no other day is the same. At least for me, I write on many topics, so that's good because I keep learning, and I don't suffer that much. I remember when I used to have an 1 to 5, and it was the same job every single day. I wanted to kill myself. It was terrible. So, but yeah, seeking that novelty is hard. Like, you get that in relationships. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say something, but again, you get that in sex as well. Like, everything is fucking boring. You gotta try new things all the time, and there comes a point when you can no longer try something new, So, and that's when it hurts, because you're like, yeah, I have like this fucking list of things that I want to do and that I have to do to keep me not bored, but I'm still bored because none of this is new to me, or
yep, 100%.
Not as much as I would like it to be.
100%.
That's what I wanted to say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it's weird because again, I hear things from everyone that's similar, but just not quite. Like, I do get overwhelmed, but that doesn't stop me having to do everything at the same time. Still, I can't do it. So I took several months away from Twitch when I was streaming, and I traveled the world. But whilst I was doing it, I took my recording equipment so that I could do podcasts. So I was doing a podcast with someone in America whilst I was in Aqaba in Jordan at the same time. I was doing my vlogging whilst I was doing that as well. And I was also studying. That was during a period of what you would theoretically call an overwhelm or burnout to a point, at least in some way. And it's really weird. I can't yeah, the idea of stopping, what Mechi was saying about always trying to find something new, and I always have the saying of it's the torment of Tantalus, because I want to know everything. I know I can't, but it's not going to stop me trying. Like I seem to sit as well, what Kirk was saying about constantly hitting the dopamine. I'm the other side. I'm constantly hitting the serotonin. Like I'm doing the several degrees. I'm doing the podcast and the content creation, as well as learning new skills. Like, and it's weird with the meditation. Like I learned, I got my my certification to be a meditation teacher, and of course did it along with Die Hard, because I know the patterns of that film so well that I can use it while still not going insane. And it's just where I need to be. I need to constantly be hitting those things at the same time. Like for the first part of this podcast, I was playing online chess whilst we were recording, because I need to do something. I can't,
unbelievable.
Can't not. I remember when I got taken to a wedding. It was one of my best mates from university, and he got married on a Christian retreat in the middle of the fucking countryside, which meant there was no TV, there was no radio, it was complete silence, and I literally sat on the bed rocking back and forth until my partner at the time took me to a pub nearby so I could play some pool, because I was like, I can't, if I stay here, I will break something. I can't do it. I can't not do it. Like, and I'm constantly trying to do that. Like I can't just sit in the middle ground for things. Like, when I start to do something, I will keep going until I can beat everyone. The chess, for instance, I started playing chess so that I could get into my lunch hall early at school, so that I could end up playing basketball. And then I ended up being in a national tournament playing chess against national players. I started playing snooker so that I could hang out with my dad more, ended up as a county, so like equivalent in America of a state level player, playing against a now former world champion at one point. Same with darts. I played Eric Bristow, who's a 3-time world champion. I became a county player at darts, because why would I just stop there? Why would I not continue until I can do it? I do it for everything, because I can't not. Even my martial arts. I've been doing martial arts since I was 4 years old. I now am recognized internationally because I created my own self-defense system. I don't understand the idea of stopping even when you've done it. Like, when you've done it, why?
I know. Like, I get it. I think the best part though about it is that whenever we all dive into something so hard like that, we end up really successful.
Yeah, I think so many.
Like, we end up doing it really fucking well.
Yeah. A friend of mine's a psychiatrist, psychologist. I can't remember which one now. And he said I was the biggest control freak he'd ever met, because when I get into a conversation with somebody and I don't understand what they're talking about, I don't go and Google it. I go and do a course in it, or I go and do a degree in it. And like, so I need to do that. And like you were saying about wanting to go to an airport and you couldn't sit there I do, but then whilst I'm at the airport, I'm editing or I'm doing something else, because I'm still traveling because I need to. Like I say, I'm going to Bulgaria in a couple of weeks. I will be in Bulgaria when Mechi is in Italy. And probably I'm thinking about going to Andorra after that, so that I can do some more stuff, so that I can train in self-defense. Because the one that people find the weirdest one that I did, which somebody on the bus mentioned once, was I read a book whilst listening to a book as well. So sometimes I will read a book like Jack Reacher or something, because it's one of the few fiction books I can actually read. But I'll be listening to another book at the same time, so that it just saves time, because I try and say, because that's the thing. You were saying about not wanting to get to boredom quicker, but I almost feel like I'm doing that, but I can't not do that. I need to do that, but then I need to fill it with something else afterwards, so that I can get to the next thing, because
you don't want to have the dip.
Yeah, I can't not do it. I mean, I'm always having to do. It's why I will just. I've known many neurodivergents to do it anyway, but it's why if I say I'm going to do something, I just do it immediately. I'm not going to go, maybe we should do this. Maybe we can. No, just fucking do it. Like, just fucking do it. Like you said you're going to do it. Just do it. I did it with my YouTube channel the other day. The charity I created, I said about wanting to do it, so I created it. Like, why the fuck? Neurotypicals are so fucking weird. They really piss me off sometimes. I've been having conversations recently, and they do my fucking.
I'm sorry, but Up and Terri are in a battle for fade out right now. Okay, Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. I'm sorry, blushing.
When it comes to overwhelm, I did post it in chat, but I think it's kind of important that people probably will recognize this. I can't stop until my body and mind make me stop. And my overwhelm comes in the form of, I cannot keep my eyes open. I'm going to be made to go to sleep, no matter what time of day or night. I'm collapsing, literally, but just shutting down. So I start to feel it happen, and I go, uh-oh, but I can't stop doing things. So I got to slow down. That's where I'm talking about the not full-on energy demanding. I have to take it down a notch. But medium? Nah, what's medium? That's for basically, our medium is not neurotypical's medium. Especially if you have hyperactivity, like me. But I get to a point where I just fully shut down. My body tells me, nope, you're not even going to be awake. Boom.
Yeah, I absolutely get that. It's just, my brain is in a constant battle for, I don't want the medium, but I know I need to get to the medium in order to be able to sleep. But if I sleep, I'm going to stop working. And that's like, if I'm sleeping, I'm not working. I'm not doing something productive. That's why I have so much trouble sleeping, is because I view sleep as a waste of time, which is not like, and I know that's a problem. That's just how I am. Like, I view it as something that hurts to do. Do you get that? Like, I feel weird saying that, but like, that's why I avoid sleep.
That. Well, and a lot of people are like, oh, you're either a morning person or a night owl and blah, blah. I'm like, no, I'm both. I'm definitely a morning person, and I'm definitely a night owl. Like, I don't really, like, I'm not too fond of the afternoons, but everything else.
Because that's that middle ground, mid-afternoon, whatever the fuck that is. Okay.
Like, that's when I would like to, like, just take a little cat nap, have a little cat nap at night, like just 2 cat naps just to get me the next 12 hours, but the cat naps don't equal 8 hours either, though.
Right.
So I'm still just like, all right, let me just, because if you sleep too long, then you lose that momentum. Because at least sometimes if you fall asleep because you're like dead tired or something, but you only sleep for an hour, maybe not even, and then you get back up, you still kind of have that shit running in your head. That's right. I was texting this person about this. We're gonna get this planned out, and then I was writing that out, and we're fucking dancing the whole time too.
Really quick, Lobow. Very quickly before you move on.
Okay.
The thing that irritates me the most, because of doing a lot of things as well, and I know someone's going to say it at some point to me. I think Mechi has said this, and I think probably most of you in here at some point have, is when people say, is there nothing you haven't done? And that seems like the biggest insult to me ever. It is the most frustrating comment that can ever be made to me, because I'm like, it seems like an insult. I can't explain it. It's me, my ears hear that as an insult. They don't hear it as, oh, you've done, it's like, what the fuck do you mean? You could do this. That's what are you on about? Like, I don't get it. It really feels, it really, really rubs me the wrong way. Also, I just put it in chat, but sleeping, you could sleep on Twitch and earn money. So then you're actually doing something whilst you sleep.
All right, so we need to move on to what we are most proud of. First, I would like to go with one of my best friends for years and years and years, Kim Devitt. What are you most proud of?
Well, right now I'm growing a human, so I'm 8.5 months pregnant, and I haven't died yet. So I think that's what I'm most proud of right now. I've had some pregnancy-related health issues, like my blood clot in my leg, which sent me to the hospital twice, and then most recently high blood pressure. And so with all of the health challenges, I am proud that I have continued to manage my health and hopefully continue to grow this healthy baby. So I guess we're like 2 weeks away. Pretty crazy.
My goodness, 2 weeks. I'm going to give a shout out to Mrs. Spark, my wife.
She is literally an angel on this earth. She drove over 2 hours to come help me get organized in my house, because we also moved and everything is just chaos. And in disarray, and she made her way all the way across the state to help and support me. And it was a day that I went to the hospital for high blood pressure. So she not only did she drive the whole way, but I also had to say, got to go to the emergency room. And she stayed and helped my husband do 2 storage unit runs while I was in the hospital. She's a blessing, a huge blessing. I'm so grateful.
Blushing, what are you most proud of this week?
You know that ADHD and rejection sensitive dysphoria, not only did I speak about it live the other day and tell people how I was feeling, but I said F that and wrote an application. We'll have a friend look over that application and then I'm going to send it.
Good.
I'm really proud of that because I could have said anxiety is going to take over. I'm not going to do it because that's what my mind was doing immediately. Like, yeah, no, you're not going to get approved, so just don't bother. Yeah. But I went, no, heck no, and said, I'm going to do this application.
Good for you. That's, gosh, applications. I need some help with that.
It's something I'm extremely passionate about. That's why I went, no, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I'm proud of myself for that.
You should be. That's fucking hard to do. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. Terri, what are we most proud of this week?
All right, so I am most proud of what I could think about right now is I'm sure there's other things, but I am in training for my new job, which is a lot of stuff that I've done before, but I went in knowing like this is a different company, a different culture. So I'm not going to come in and be like, oh, well, I have this experience. I know how to do this. Because they could teach me in a completely different way and maybe I'll understand it better. And it's not like saying, goodbye to my experience or anything that I've learned or any of the skills, but just learning them in a new way to develop them even further. And like, I was saying, I'm gonna pretty much like not let that experience dilute what I'm learning now. And honestly, if like I walk in here as if I don't have the experience, that's fine, because like skills you could learn, fucking policies and procedures you could learn, but you can't teach someone a good attitude. I think I got a good attitude. And like when it comes to like speaking with people and talking to them and making them feel comfortable with you and all of that kind of stuff that they call like the soft skills, I have naturally and also have developed over my life. So I think that that's where I'll bring my experience, like where my soft skills are, and not like the book stuff, I guess. I don't know. So I'm proud of myself for like being open and curious, and I fucking love learning too. So I'm like acting like it's school, learn.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Y'all are inspiring as shit. Up for the challenge. What do we got? What are you most proud? I know you hate it. I but I
want to give the answer I gave a few weeks ago.
No, because you can't beat that. No, you didn't
fucking use it. You didn't fucking use it.
I used everything. Okay.
You didn't use it as my thing because you told me. Okay. The fact that anybody else has had the opportunity to speak when I am an absolute. I can't use the word I want to, because even for you guys that's not allowed. I'm an absolute bastard for things like that. And the fact that anybody got a word in edgeways is quite impressive. So that is the most pride you're going to get out of me this week.
All right. I'll give it to you. I'll let you off on that one. Okay. I'll let you do it this week. Okay. Mechi, what are you most proud of?
I'm going to give it something to add. He's not proud of anything, but he should be proud, because if I wouldn't have talked to him, I wouldn't have achieved one of my biggest dreams. The thing is, I never went to Europe. I actually never left Latin America. And I come from a very hardworking class here in Argentina. So, and I'm proud of myself for having built a business that can run without me, that can allow me to travel. I'm still gonna work because otherwise I'm gonna get bored. But I'm proud of me of having built a business that can support me and my partner, and I've been able to book a trip to Italy for both of us. And I'm also proud of this community, because if it wouldn't have been because of this, and because of you guys, and also because, especially for App, who was talking to me for an hour, and he talked me into buying the ticket, and he opened my eyes, and I never realized that I was always able to book that trip, and I could have done that years ago. But I have like I'm saving money, and I come from this hardworking, background, that like I have this loss aversion with money. It's like, I want a lot of money in the bank account. Let's not touch that. Like, let money work. So, and I was like, no, he showed me that I was able to do it. And now that makes me want to even make more money and travel more. And yeah, I'm proud of that.
Kirk, what are we most proud of, buddy? This week.
I think this week I've been working on trying to create a system for myself to be super organized and like churn through all these tasks. And it like shows up everywhere. So now anytime I have like a task or whatever, it pops up on my watch, pops up on my computer, it pops up on my phone, and it has a timer on it. And like, if I can refine it really, really well, I think I can make myself super productive. Maybe not as productive as Up, but like, I would love to be able to continually add to that, to the point where I'm seeing each timed item as a challenge. Like, okay, cool, you have this much time to do it, and there's all these timers running, and I just start whipping through them until there's more and more and more and harder things to accomplish. I think that could be super, super motivating if I don't get overwhelmed by it. So I'm proud of myself for setting it up, getting it started. There's a lot of work to still be done on that system. But I think this could be really, really fun and really, really like productive for me. Beneficial. Yes, that word.
that would be exactly. So I am I've had a hell of a 24 hours, to be honest with you. I have gone back and forth on a lot of different things. And recently I've noticed that I have a massive amount of work to do on myself. And it's because I responded to someone that I really care about in a way that I never dreamed that was even possible, that I've never done in my life. And that's a massive character flaw when you recognize, like, how did I do this? Like, what the fuck happened? So you got to go back to the drawing board on that. You have to have self-realization of the fact that, like, you did fuck up and it was a big problem and you're an idiot for doing it. But when it's not a pattern, you got to look at what's surrounding it in terms of why you acted that way. And I went through a lot of things. To be honest with you, at 7 a.m. this morning, this was the last episode of this podcast for a long, long time. And it was because I noticed a huge difference in something that I did that I have never done before. And I wanted to take a step back. And the reason being is because I was going so fast and cared so much that I didn't even read something that I really should have fucking read. And that's a character flaw in myself. So fast forward a little bit. The reason I need to learn more about this, I need to get better. I need to learn what the definitions of these things are. Like Up was saying, you know, he immerses himself in the knowledge, right? The learning aspect. I hate school. I hate books. I hate all of those things, but I will be starting training to be an ADHD coach in the very immediate future. And I'm going to learn how to better describe some of these things instead of saying, fuck you, you're brilliant. If that makes any sense. So I'm going to turn something that I am really ashamed of into a very powerful force, and I'm very proud of that. I can't stop this because I love it too much, but I need to learn a lot. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I am proud of that.
What is your